A few days ago, I read a comment that made me stop for a long time. Not because it was harsh, and not because it was cruel. It was actually very simple. A woman asked me something I didn't think anyone had ever asked me quite that way before. She wrote, "Do you think your life has changed now?" I sat there looking at that sentence for a long time. Because the answer is yes. My life has changed. But the road between the life I used to live and the life I live now, that road is long. Longer than most people see. Many of you who have followed this channel for a long time already know parts of my story. You know about the intruder who broke into my home. You know about the abuse I lived through. You know about the diagnosis doctors gave me over the years. PTSD, depression, other mental health struggles that made life feel like a storm inside my own mind. You know about the seasons when I was hospitalized in mental hospitals, trying to find stability again, just trying to breathe, trying to understand how life had become so heavy. Some of you found this channel because you were walking through those same kinds of struggles. And you told me my story made you feel less alone. But that question made me realize something. I've shared a lot about what I survived, but I haven't talked as much about what life looks like now. And the truth is, my life today is very different. If you had told the girl I once was that one day she would wake up in a quiet home, walk into the kitchen, pour a cup of coffee, light a candle just because she likes the way it smells, and sit down at the table without fear sitting in her chest, she probably would have smiled politely, and deep down, she would not have believed you. Not really. Because when you spend years learning how to survive, peace feels like a language you were never taught. I grew up in a home where you learned to read the room before you spoke, and paid attention to tone, to footsteps in the hallway, to the feeling in the air. Some nights were quiet, other nights were not. And when you grow up that way, something happens inside your body. Your nervous system learns survival. You become alert, watchful, always listening, even when you're supposed to be resting. I remember lying in bed as a young girl, staring at the ceiling in the dark, watching shadows move across the walls, listening to the sounds of the house, trying to predict what kind of night it would be, trying to stay small, trying not to draw attention. Life moved forward the way it always does. Years passed. There were moments that hurt in ways I didn't yet have words for. Moments that changed the way I saw the world. Moments that made me feel very alone. But even during those years, something small inside me, it kept flickering. Hope. Not a loud hope. Not a confident hope. Just a tiny spark that refused to completely go out. Sometimes the only prayer I could manage during those years was a whisper. God, please help me make it through this. Not a long prayer. Not a perfect, polished prayer. Just a quiet reaching towards something bigger than the pain I was living in. And looking back now, I really believe, God was there even when I couldn't see it yet. Eventually, I became a mother. Motherhood has a way of waking something deep inside you. When you hold your child in your arms, something shifts. Your heart grows. Your determination grows. And for many years, my life was centered around raising my children, loving them, protecting them, trying to give them stability. But life continued to bring storms. There were relationships that hurt, promises that didn't hold, moments where I felt like the ground beneath my feet kept shifting. Eventually, doctors gave names to the struggles I'd been carrying in my mind for years. PTSD, severe depression. Other diagnoses meant to explain why my thoughts and emotions sometimes felt impossible to control. Medication, it helped in some ways, but it also changed things. My energy, my sleep, my body. Over time, I gained more than 100 pounds. When I looked in the mirror, I barely recognized myself. That kind of change, it does something to your spirit. Makes you want to hide, to disappear, to avoid pictures, to avoid being seen. There were seasons when life felt like walking through fog. And then there were moments that they were truly terrifying. Moments when I didn't know if I was safe. Moments when survival meant leaving quickly and trusting that somehow we would find a way forward. Many of you know about the intruder that I woke up to one morning, standing over me while I slept. That night, it changed something in me. Even years later, certain sounds, it would just make my heart jump. You know, trauma teaches your body to stay alert long after the danger is gone. And then there were seasons where my mental health struggles became so overwhelming that I needed help I couldn't provide for myself. I spent time in mental hospitals, places where doors close behind you, places where you wear a bracelet with your name on it, places where you sit quietly, wondering how life became so heavy. You know, those seasons humbled me. But they were also part of the path that eventually led me here. Because healing rarely arrives all at once. It happens slowly, quietly, piece by piece. And sometimes in ways that you don't even notice until years later. Somewhere along the way, something unexpected happened. Tim came into my life. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't a movie moment, just a message, a conversation, a connection that grew slowly. And what mattered most wasn't something grand he did. It was something simple. He stayed. He didn't rush me. He didn't try to fix everything. He didn't demand that I be different. He just stayed. There were months when I barely spoke. Months when I didn't know how to let someone be close to me without fear creeping in. But he stayed anyway. And slowly something inside me began to soften. Healing didn't arrive with fireworks. It arrived in the ordinary moments. In bread rising on the counter. Cinnamon baking in the oven. In the quiet mornings at the kitchen table. In the warm glow of a candle. Somewhere along the way, I started realizing something. Maybe God meets us in ordinary places more often than we expect. Maybe grace shows up in the smallest moments of peace. Little by little, the storm inside me began to quiet. I started noticing things again. Sunlight across the kitchen counter, the sound of birds in the morning, the comfort of clean sheets at the end of the day. Hardship changes the way you see the world. When you've lived through chaos, you learn to treasure quiet. For so many years, I used to wish that my life had started differently. I wished for a softer childhood, a home filled with laughter instead of tension. But eventually, something inside me changed. Instead of wishing for a different past, I started noticing what my past taught me. It's taught me resilience, empathy, strength that I didn't even know I had. Every painful chapter, it has carved space inside my heart to love more deeply. Every betrayal taught me how to recognize loyalty when it appeared. Every dark season made the light more precious when it finally came. And that is the life I live now. A simple life, a quiet life. Sometimes I sit at the kitchen table with a cup of tea and I just watch the light move across the floor. Tim walks through the room and asks what I'm thinking about. Sometimes I don't even know how to explain it. Because how do you explain that peace itself once felt impossible? But now it feels normal. There's still scars. Every night, I still check the locks. Sometimes a sudden noise will make my heart jump. But those moments, they don't control my life anymore. They're just echoes. And sometimes when I sit quietly, I think about the girl that I used to be. The one lying in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering if life would ever feel safe. If I could go back and sit beside her, I would tell her something she couldn't imagine yet. I would tell her, you are going to make it. Not easily, not quickly, but you will. And one day, you'll sit in a quiet kitchen with a peaceful heart, and you're going to realize the storm finally passed. There were years when I thought my story had been ruined, too broken, too heavy. But now when I look back, I see something different. I see that God didn't waste any of it. Not the pain, not the tears, not the nights I thought I wouldn't survive. He was writing a story that I couldn't see yet. If you've been watching my channel for a long time, you've seen the hard parts of my story. But maybe you're in a season right now where life still feels heavy. Maybe you are still in the middle of the storm. If that's you, I want you to hear this. There were years when I believed peace would never come for me. But healing arrived slowly, quietly, one ordinary day at a time. Sometimes when I sit at the kitchen table in the morning, I whisper a quiet thank you to God, not for the pain, but for the strength to survive it. Because the miracle wasn't a sudden rescue. The miracle was simply that I made it through. So I'm curious about something. If you're comfortable sharing, what is one small thing that helps you keep going when life feels overwhelming? It might be a prayer, your children, music, baking, a quiet walk. Whatever it is, I would love to hear it. I read as many of your comments as I can, and your stories matter so much to me. Because none of us were meant to walk through life's hardest moments completely alone. And wherever you are in your story right now, whether you're still fighting your way through the storm, or you're just beginning to see a little light, I hope you remember this. Healing doesn't always come all at once. Sometimes it arrives quietly, one peaceful day at a time. And today, after everything, my life truly is different now. And peace, real peace, is possible. And I'll see you next time.